Welcome to Talking Points. I'm Gilad Malamed. Julian Assange is set to face an epic legal and political battle following his arrest on Thursday.
And I'm Elijah Shama. The WikiLeaks co-founder has spent nearly 7 years in the Ecuadorian embassy before being arrested by British authorities on behalf of the United States and brought to a maximum security prison where he currently remains. Ecuador's president says Assange's actions made it impossible to maintain asylum.
The discourteous and aggressive behavior of Mr. Julian Assange, the hostile and threatening declarations of his allied organization against Ecuador, and especially the transgression of international treaties, have led the situation to a point where the asylum of Mr. Assange is unsustainable and no longer viable.
Assange faces U.S. charges of conspiring to break into a Pentagon computer and could be extradited to the U.S. for prosecution. Assange's lawyer claims the charges affect journalists around the world.
About these charges, that the factual allegations are in effect providing a source assistance in protecting their own identity. Okay. Now that, as a factual matter, is absolutely a news gathering question and absolutely a free speech question.
Let me ask.
We're now joined by Talking Points analyst Gabrielle Caracciolo. Now, Assange has been living in the Ecuadorian embassy for 2,487 days. Why now?
Right, so as we kind of heard the Ecuadorian president allude to, he was saying that he just was making this terms of living in asylum uninhabitable. They claim that he was trying to make this a center for spying in that small room that he was occupying for that time. He hadn't left, hadn't gone out into the city of London for fear of being arrested. And the Ecuadorian president says he was assured that he wouldn't be given the death penalty and he wouldn't be extradited anywhere where he could receive the death penalty. And that's why he said, okay, now's the time.
Now, Gabrielle, Assange, a very key figure in U.S. politics. How's the reaction been here?
Yeah, so this is one of those few issues where people across both sides of the aisle can kind of agree they feel that he needs to be prosecuted. Both Hillary Clinton and Vice President Mike Pence saying the same exact thing. President Trump's reaction has been interesting. He said in the Oval Office, I don't really know anything about WikiLeaks, which is kind of confusing because during the campaign trail he talked about how great WikiLeaks was the whole time. So it'll be interesting to follow what President Trump says in the coming days and how he actually does react to this.
Now, also in the coming days, what can we expect next for Assange?
So he has 2 different video court appearances in the next kind of 6 weeks. It's going to be a really slow process. The outcome of Brexit can actually have an impact on this extradition process because that'll impact the different courts that he can appeal to.
Now, we heard from Assange's attorney earlier, but what's been his kind of defense against these charges?
He's saying that he was a journalist and this was in the public interest, and that's why that he shouldn't be prosecuted. Another angle that they can take is that one of the charges is saying he created this new account in order to access information, but they're saying that, oh no, he was just trying to protect Chelsea Manning, who he coordinated with. He was trying to protect her identity, and that's why he was doing that, and the protection of sources. So it all comes back to this argument that he's a journalist and this was in the public interest.
And speaking of Chelsea Manning, the two are having very different outcomes here.
Yeah, so Chelsea Manning was sentenced to 35 years in prison, and then Barack Obama commuted that sentence to only 7 years. That certainly is not expected to be the case for Julian Assange.
All right, Gabrielle, thank you.